Hey team, joking here, but I'm serious. Welcome to another episode of A Hitchhiker's Guide to Tyria, where I cover the very basics of my favorite video game called Guild Wars 2. In today's episode, we're going to be covering structured PvP conquest mode. If you're a new player, I hope this helps you out and brings some light to what it is all about. If you are a veteran player, I really appreciate any comments you could leave in the comment section below. Just help me figure out this whole YouTube thing as I go along with it, and maybe recommendations to future videos, or things I missed even, or any sort of constructive criticism on how these videos pan out. I would really appreciate it. Aside from that, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to know when the next video comes out. Also, links to my Twitch channel and social medias in the description below. I do want to state that Twitch is a great tool to catch me live, ask me questions, and I can answer you directly. Also, the schedule for that is every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tuesdays are for illustration, Thursdays I teach graphic design, and Fridays I play Guild Wars 2 with the team. That means you guys, if you want to join the guild, make sure you reach out to me in game. My username is also in the description below, so check that out. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, here we are in the heart of the mists, also known as the PvP lobby. This is probably the most mentioned area in all my YouTube series, but that's the nature of the beast. It's my favorite place to be in Tyria, and also it just has everything you need for efficient gameplay, including build calculating and merchants, bank, all sorts of things. Anyways, I'm gonna get straight into this. I want to mention two things as a beginner. Game browser and unranked should be your best friends, okay? Secondly, this PvP build button here, I want to mention a little bit about that. So that's a bit of an outline. Let's get straight to it. Starting with the PvP build, I want you to know that when you are in the mists, it will change all your equipment via this button here. So you can look at your player versus environment equipment, but it won't affect your PvP gameplay. So you want to make sure that the cross swords is the one that's in front and white. And then I'll show you a little bit about it. So all the stats are based off your amulet in PvP, and they are all accessible except for a few, and those few can be unlocked for a number of gold, okay? It's never really expensive, so just make sure you use the one concerning your build. And the other thing is all the runes are accessible, the sigils are also accessible, and the weapons, however, you will need a copy of the weapon. So I'll just actually show you in a second. But that's part of it. Next is down below the build, okay? So just below equipment is the build. And everything in here slightly changes when you enter the PvP lobby. Some of the traits are changed for player versus player, and everything is unlocked, okay? So just make sure when you enter the lobby you go over all of that and look it through, make it the way you want to test it, and go from there. All right, so that basically covers the build. However, I do want to mention this vendor here just for your weapons. So if you talk to him, he has for very cheap every single weapon type, and since in player versus player equipment stats don't affect the amulet stats. The amulet is what provides all the stats. The equipment is just what skills you have on your weapon skills down below, as covered in the hotkeys video, which was last week. So that basically covers the basics of builds in PvP. Now back to the player versus player browser or window. So play unranked, a great way to just dive in. I do recommend it even beyond rank 20. I don't recommend you start pressing the compete button until you understand a little more. People tend to get frustrated if you don't understand these few core concepts of the game, and you may not have a very fun time unless you understand these and work with your team in the compete button. So play unranked is definitely fair. Yes, there's always toxic people, but just focus on improving yourself and working on your builds, your strategy, and your positioning. All right, so that is the play unranked button. But also down below on the tabs, there is a game browser, which I actually recommend a little bit more as a newer player. There's several arenas that are both owned by players and by ArenaNet, and you can tell the difference. Basically, the native game, the native games that are available will all say server and then a number. Any that are owned privately may also be open. So like Delcat's Legacy Meow Daily, things like that. They're also a great way to just jump in. Few things to notice though: if you want to make sure you're getting progression down below, just like here, your rank bar, make sure you look for no symbols here. So there's a few things to look. One is the lock symbol, which means it requires a password. The other is the no progression symbol, which if you want progression, don't join these. And then the third one is the spectator option. I kind of like the spectator option, but you don't really need it with or without, especially as a newer player. So something I wanted to show you guys is I've actually purchased one with a password. Make sure you contact me in game and join my guild if this is something you're interested, and then you can have access to this arena. But for just learning purposes, definitely go to one that is near the top because it shows the number of players. Make sure there's a good number of players for you to clash with and just hop in. Lots of people prefer the native game servers, but also there's some of these other ones. Delcats are popular. But since I want an empty place for explaining some of the things, let's go ahead and jump in to my private arena. Alright, so we've entered our arena, and as you see here, right when you enter, there is a little instructions panel, which also lets you join the several positions within this arena. So you can spectate, join the red or blue team. Of course, if one of the teams has a player and the other doesn't, some arenas will automatically put you onto the opposite team, and you could also join random. So I'm going to go ahead and click on red team. And as you see here, it puts me in a starting zone with a ready panel on the left. Also, if I now open my scoreboard, there's a few things I want to explain. So first of all, it shows you all the players within the arena. It shows you this little heart that allows you to save that particular arena as a favorite, to swap teams, or to join spectate mode. Other very brief things I want to cover is that between matches there is a timeline which shows how the game went, and also the statistics, reward track, and spectators. Okay, so now that I've covered that, keep in mind, anytime throughout the game, you can open the scoreboard through the default key B, or if you've done the instructions on my last video, you can do the custom hotkey that you've given it as well. Alright, so to initiate, many of the custom arenas that are native to the game will actually auto-initiate, but if you're in a private one, you will need to click the ready button. So I have a helper here today. Go ahead, Drake, and click the ready button. Let's do this. So once you click the ready button, the game will about to begin, as stated up top here, and then a timer will count down. So let's get to it. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Oh, we're not blasting off. Alright, so me and my volunteer here, for the sake of this demonstration, will meet at the graveyard, which is the middle node. And we'll do a simple explanation. Alright, so as you see here, the node is gray, meaning neutral. So if I am to step into the node, I will begin to capture that node. Now, if the opponent from the team steps into the node, it will stop the capture, as you see here. It is gray, but with the progress of red. Alright, so now if I step out, he will begin to first decap and now recap. I'm going to go ahead and allow him to fully capture that node. And then we can explain a little bit of how the point system works. So first off, the points are displayed at the top of the screen. So now that he's captured the graveyard, which is the middle node, he's gaining 1 point per second. So we're gonna actually go ahead and decap this node real quick just to establish the next thing. Right, so decapping is way faster than recapping. So I did want to point that out real quick before moving on, is that sometimes it's way better to defend a point than to capture a point. And sometimes it could be more beneficial to just decap a point and run away and go back to defending rather than fully capturing the point. This forces an enemy player to have to leave one of the fights that are going on to go recapture the point in their side of the map or any other strategical advantage. Alright, so that is one way to earn point, is the per second of nodes captured. The next point is, go ahead Drake, have your fun. He's gonna actually kill me. So another way to be awarded points in game is to knock out an enemy player. I probably picked the worst class for this because even without pressing a skill, I got more toughness. And now he's teabagging me. Alright, let's get on with it. Alright, so as you see at the top of the screen, for that he was awarded 5 points. So now I just briefly want to show you guys the last part of this video is about the layout of every single conquest map. So all conquest maps have 3 points, and we typically describe them by home, middle, and far. Okay, typically home is always the closest point to you from your starting position, middle is always middle, and far is always the farthest one. So those are the basics of every single conquest map. Secondly, each individual conquest map has a different side objective. Now, as a beginner, I typically encourage people to not worry too much about the side objectives, so I'm gonna save those for another video, but I will just state that in this one in particular, it is called Lord. So my red team has this Lord, and it's these NPCs here, and the enemy team can go ahead and break a door there and make their way into the Lord room and kill the Lord for an additional 150 points towards the game. I think that's about everything. Oh, you're there. Oh, hi. That was another episode of A Hitchhiker's Guide to Tyria. Just wanted to, again, in this ending screen, thank everyone for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying your new visit/stay to Tyria, Guild Wars 2. Huge thanks to ArenaNet for providing quite a wondrous escape from reality. I wanted to say that this video is geared towards the new players. And if you are a veteran player and you're still enjoying the content, I also really appreciate that. But a special mission to you guys particularly is leave in the comments any sort of information that you feel is lacking or any sort of improvements I can add to the videos. Really adds a lot. It really makes a huge improvement. And the fact that you guys all continue to encourage this and guide me through this shaky waters or a new territory for me, which is YouTube. I really appreciate it all, and it's really been encouraging, and it's a wonderful experience. So I think all that's left to say, guys, is hit that subscribe button to know when the next video comes out, and don't forget to ring the bell, because if you don't ring the bell, you won't know when the next video comes out. And then also, I want to add that I Twitch stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So come have a chat with me, enjoy some live content as well. And links to Twitch and social medias are in the description below, which I try to be available to answer and communicate with you guys as best I can. So, thanks. Sincerely, from the bottom of my shirt. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.